Today on the bridge, we talk about the president and first lady contracting Rona, why you need to vote, and Cuties, the movie on Netflix. Stick with us to hear all this and more on the bridge. Welcome to the bridge. Welcome to the bridge. Y'all supposed to dance too. Oh, y'all suck. All right. Welcome to the bridge, the show that bridges the conversation, the gap between race, gender, and culture. I'm your host, Alex Montgomery, and with me, I have some very special guests as my guest panelists. Here we go, right here, Mr. Stephen Alexander, who I'm a huge fan of. Miss Emily Walden, one of the most, I can tell you, she is very wise, y'all. I really think so. And then the great, the best, one of the best intellects I know, Miss Naomi McIntosh. How y'all doing?
Wonderful.
I'm glad y'all joined me today. What's up, Stephen?
Can't complain. I'm hanging in here.
Yes, sir. What about you, Emily?
Still tracking, starting to get to that middle of the semester, so things picking up, but it's still fun, so it's all good.
Midterms, ain't this midterm season? Ain't we in midterms?
Yeah, just about. We have like about 1 week.
Yeah. And it's that time. I know all of us are feeling the pressure. I am. Literally the other day, I was crying, I was laughing, I was giggling all at the same time. I didn't know what was going on. I said, I need to go to the doctor and check this out because this ain't right. This ain't right. But I'm just trying to hang in there.
Hey, so Naomi, this is like you and Emily's first time on the bridge, right?
Yes, this is my first time on the bridge. Yeah.
Hey, how y'all feeling about being on camera? Last time, Emily, you was behind the camera.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I just enjoy the what the show is really about, coming together and of different people coming together to talk about things peacefully too. So yeah, that's the whole reason why I really wanted to be a part of it. So
yes. How you feeling, Naomi?
Well, actually, kind of going off of Emily, it's really nice to be able to talk to people out in the open and not necessarily argue with people, because we're all in a place where we should be understanding rather than arguing our point. We should be open to people's ideas and empathize. So this is actually legitimately bridging the gap between a communication error in our age.
Yup, that's the goal. We bridging the gap here. Also, so hey, yeah, snaps. Let's snap that up for Naomi. Emily started snapping. Snaps. Hey, so welcome to the show, y'all. Let's talk about what we can't not talk about. The Rona. It's still going strong. Cases still going up. But like, how y'all handling this pandemic? How y'all handling, working from home or school from home or whatever? How y'all feeling?
Well, my mom, she's a respiratory therapist in Memphis. So she's kind of like hands-on immediately, was hands-on. She's supervisor at Baptist East. So she was immediately hands-on with everything that was going on. And so I knew about the coronavirus before there was a coronavirus, I feel like, because like everyone, they knew and they were trying to like prepare and get everything ready. And it was really like tiring. I could see my mom come in late and be super stressed about everything and being short because, you just have to make sure everyone's safe. So yeah, so it's definitely taken a big role in my life, but it's definitely I've seen the decrease in cases with my mom telling me there's been a decrease. And it's instead of having like 60 people immediately coming into the ER every day, or like the line all the way back to like 2 streets over to get tested. It's like it's still happening, but it's decreased a lot, so it's good.
I would say for me, I'm dealing with it because during this time, I don't see how anyone could be the same person they were before quarantining the virus, because this time has forced a lot of us to deal with things that we suppressed over the years, things that we don't want to deal with. And I find that's where I am right now in my life, dealing with ugliness in my life and dealing with things that are great and navigating through that to see what I can take out, because 2021, I refuse to deal with the same things that I had to deal with before 2020 and during 2020. So refuse.
I'm with that.
Going off of what Steven said, I think that right now, I don't know about you guys, but social anxiety and depression have become almost a social norm this year. Like, legitimately, people can't go out, people can't socialize, we have to wear masks everywhere. Legitimately, the pressure for students as well as people working in their jobs, dealing with both non-maskers and maskers, the pressures of society to, oh, you're out with this person, that's wrong, or oh, why aren't you wearing a mask, or oh, why are you wearing a mask, and then people just overall frustrated. It's absolutely insane to see such great people turn into very anxious people out in public. Like, you don't know what's going to happen next. Like, you can be approached at any second by somebody who either is with you or against you, and I don't know why, but it's the pressure is on the semester, and it doesn't help with COVID-19 converting everything to online. I don't know about you guys, but I am not an online person. I am an in-person learner, and it's difficult.
Same. Okay, I got a question. This is the y'all put yourself in this shoe. If y'all were the president, like, how would you handle coronavirus? Like, how would you?
Like now or like before?
I'm like when it first hit.
When it first hit, I think immediately they should have immediately shut down like all exits to the country, and as soon as it did get shut, it started, you need to like bring everyone back to the country as well, get that word out there. I had a cousin that was stuck in like Greece for like 2 weeks because he was there when they just shut down everything, but they didn't give any warning that they were going to do it. So if they had already were like, we're going to shut down now, get everyone back, make sure no one leaves, everyone be safe, so that's something that I would have done, was immediately shut everything down, not wait until it gets worse.
I would have, number one, first things first, is shut everything down, like Emily stated. And also, too, the mask mandate should have been in force a long time ago. Because whether people want to wear the mask or not, that's their issue. But however, it is studies that prove that does help kind of prevent it some. So I think that the mask mandate should have been mandated a long time ago and not been made optional, because it has been made optional for so long, people feel that when it is mandated, oh, well, I had the option to not wear it before, so I'm not going to do. So it just created a lot of confusion. But if it was done from the very beginning, we would have this issue.
Okay. I would have first shut everything down. I wouldn't have pulled people from the other countries. I would have given them warning and then just immediately shut down, because if they're already outside the country, it would take time to transport them back. So to preserve what is happening right then and there, I would have shut everything down. I would have placed a mandatory quarantine for about half a month, and I would work with all forms of government to put a pause on everything. For a lot of people, you can't wait a week to work or anything like that, but it would have been nice to like push pause on all bills, taxes, anything like that. I just thought it would have been like a good catch up, like I feel like a lot of people could have used a breather, where we kind of didn't do that. We just left everything open. We started a quarantine, and then nobody really listened to it. And then it wasn't really thoroughly enforced either. Did anybody feel that?
I felt like it was, but I live out in the sticks. Like, I'm not from Clarksville, so I live in the sticks. So like you couldn't really go anywhere anyways. But if I wanted to go somewhere, I would go into Memphis, which everything they like shut everything down. You couldn't even stay inside the restaurant. You had to wait in your car, some restaurants. So they shut down a lot of stuff. And it didn't get as bad as we thought it was going to in Memphis, and that's something that, they did take care of it, with quarantine. But and a lot of those other bigger cities, it's so hard not to work in a big city, because I mean people have, rent to pay, bills to pay. So but I definitely think it should have, I'm glad that it was mandated. It would have been worse if it wasn't.
I was definitely a person that didn't take Corona serious in the beginning at all. I mean, even when they mandated the mask, that was something I was just like, bruh. Like, and then I was even one of those ones that was like putting the mask on and had it under my nose. defeating the whole purpose of it. And then, I mean, I guess for me, it took seeing people close to me get the, contract the virus. That was just like, oh, this is serious. And then seeing the effects it had on my family, my mother had got it, my sister, my aunt, I mean, and then seeing the negative effect it had on them, kind of just like, okay, I need to take this serious, But let's move on from that issue or that conversation and move on to this. The president contracting the coronavirus after literally talking crazy to Joe Biden and teasing him about it, like, hey, this man wears it all the time. I just wear it sometimes. And now he got it. And Joe Biden still hasn't got the corona. How y'all feel about that, though?
Yo, there are some really pretty funny memes about it. Like Joe Biden's just like, ha, karma. Like, yeah. Oh man, it's ridiculous.
But there is, I was very glad to see that some of the Democratic Party at the same time was like, no, you should not wish this on anyone. Like, that's horrible. And I did agree with that. I mean, without his character involved, you don't want to wish an illness on anyone. So I was glad that someone stood up for that. I felt like, I admired those people even more for doing that. I mean, that shows to their character. You see past an issue, it's about your health. And so, yeah. So I don't really ridicule him as much because I wouldn't wish that on him. And I can't say the same because I've gone out without a mask on without even thinking. And I could have gotten it as well, and I would be a hypocrite to say differently. So
I think it goes back for me. It goes back to being careful what you say, because that revolves around the president or anyone in this country. You have to be careful what you say and how you say it, because to say to someone, oh, well, pretty much you're wearing a mask, you're stupid, and then you contract it. It's like, you're taken back. You need to be careful what you say, because it can happen to you. So I thought from that, I didn't wish ill upon the president, because that's not the kind of person I am. Because also too, with going back to, Christian values, and some of us that have those values, I've heard some people say, well, that's what he get. It's like, no, we shouldn't say that, because that could happen to us again. And then when it happens to us, is it because that's what we get? Would you want someone to say that to you? So we have to be mindful of those kinds of things. Even when you feel some strong heaviness and some strong hatred towards someone, you have to be careful not to elaborate and expound on that, because it could happen to you. So I hope this is a lesson that the president can learn as well.
Yeah, I feel like it's become kind of like a social stigma, huh? The mask wearing, and then who catches COVID and who doesn't. But like most people are like, well, I haven't been wearing a mask and I feel fine. But then mask wearers are like, well, it could happen to you, but it's just a precautionary measure. Wouldn't you rather be safe than sorry?
But it's still been people that contracted contracted COVID who wore masks. I mean, it was this lady at the school that actually contracted COVID from staying 6 feet away from a student with her mask on and still got it. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, you got people. So what would y'all say to those people that be like, you know what, I can wear a mask and still get it, so I ain't finna wear no mask? How y'all?
Well, here's my thing. You can wear the mask and not get it. You can also not wear it and get it. It's like wearing a condom. You can wear a condom and not get someone pregnant, and you can also not wear one and get, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, what are you trying to prove? Just put it on, because when you put it on, it helps prevent so much destruction. And if, like, going back to the condom thing, when you put one on, it kind of helps aid with you not having a kid. It might not all the way prevent it 100%, but it helps aid in that. So people always want to argue, go back and forth. It's like, come on now, come on. Let's not try to justify everything. Let's just do what's right. Come on.
Now y'all see why Steven is always on the bridge. I had a feeling, you know what? I had a feeling, hey, it's gonna be something about a condom. Because that's the first thing I thought. And so it's all right. You did it, I did. All right, it's cool.
Get my mind clean. I need to get my mind clean. My mind been all in the gutter. I need to get it clean.
I mean, it's real. What you say, Emily?
What I'd probably say to somebody that did that, I'd probably I mean, it's their choice ultimately, it depends on where you live, but if it's your choice, then it is your choice, and I'll wear a mask, but to make other people feel, safe as well, and for myself to feel safe. But if you don't wear a mask, I'm not going to yell at you in the middle of Kroger, like, put your mask on. Like, what are you doing? Because I'm not that kind of person. I wouldn't do that to somebody. So that's my perspective. I wouldn't yell at someone about it. I mean, it doesn't necessarily make me feel unsafe if they don't wear one. It's probably just because of this whole virus, how it works and everything, and know about it and how to, prevent itself. Like, I'm going to wash my hands. I'm going to take a shower every day. I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do to prevent myself from getting it. So I'm just going to, let you do your own thing.
Can I ask a question? Because I know that so many people were talking about, well, I don't want to wear the mask, but I've always thought of it this way. Like, think about other people in your life, like your 80-something-year-old grandparents or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that kind of affect you guys? And how have you guys spoke to people about that who say, I don't want to wear a mask and I'm not going to? Have you guys spoke up and said, hey, it's not really about you, it's about other people as well?
I've definitely I've stated that before to somebody, but it was an elder person. They were like, I don't know why I have to wear this. I can't even breathe anyways. And you can get exempt from not wearing one if you have a legitimate medical reason. I'm not going to force something on you if that's going to make you, not be able to breathe. But at the same time, yes, like I do have an elderly grandmother, in a nursing home, and I haven't been able to see her in how many months has it been? And they just now let my mom see her like outside, like it's crazy. And so, yeah, I understand, and that pain of not seeing her, but knowing that she's safe is a better feeling. I would rather her be safe than, to not be safe, me potentially giving it to her. So that's how I feel about it.
I mean, have y'all ever come across, I don't know if the ladies see this a lot, but I mean, like going to a public restroom, a guy uses the restroom and now you wash his hands and just walk out. Do y'all see that?
Yes.
Y'all do? I was about to y'all say yes.
Are you kidding me? Yes. If you have ever been to a bar, women don't care. Like they don't. They use the bathroom, then they take a bunch of selfies and forget to wash their hands and walk out the door.
I guess it's because I'm too much of like a scrubber. Every time I go to the bathroom, I like clean my hands. Even if I'm like home by myself, I like to wash my hands. You don't know. I don't know. That just doesn't seem right to me.
Well,
I haven't been out in a long time, so I can't remember.
Y'all remember sugar and spice and everything nice. I don't think that applies today. Because women just like men nowadays. They don't apply today. They don't. I've heard some of my lady friends talk about how they like, oh, I forgot to wash my hands. I'm like, how you forget? Go in that bathroom and wash your hands.
Right.
My mom, I'll be like, I just grew up. Like if I didn't wash my hands, my mom would be like, what are you doing, child? Like, because her, coming home from work, everyone needs to wash their hands around her. So like, especially if you're doing laundry with her stuff. So yeah, you always wash your hands, wash your hands. So it was just the kind of, I'm like, these people don't wash their hands kind of moment.
Did anybody see like the little hand washing little pictures everywhere and like bathrooms shortly after COVID hit? They're like, this is how you properly wash your hands. Get behind the thumbs and all in between. Like legitimately, it was like a really big deal in restaurants. Like, yes, these adults don't know how to wash their hands properly.
They used to have that in like the elementary school bathrooms. Like I remember those being there during the flu season. They'd be like, this is the flu season, wash your hands, check your nails, and now they're putting them everywhere where adults are. It's like, you didn't get it in elementary school.
Bro.
I don't know. It's crazy.
So, I mean, yeah. And also, Steven, why sound like you about to whoop your friends when you told them, like, go wash your hands?
Because like, I don't want that, whatever you got on me. I don't want number one and number two, and I don't want it on my skin because I ain't trying to wake up in the morning. I got a little bump on my skin because you did number one and number two, and I don't know what you got. You better go wash yourself. Quit playing.
Bro, I don't know why I feel like I'm about to get a whooping when you started talking, bro. Hey, let's move on. So we got the Rona. So we got our president for this. They have the Rona, which is I honestly pray they get well. But we also have something that's way worse than that. And that aired last week, the presidential debate. So what an entertaining show. I mean, I enjoyed every bit of it. I mean, it was very entertaining. I didn't get anything out of it outside of being entertained.
It's hard, you know, and you feel almost guilty for laughing at it because it's a presidential debate. But it's like I was like watching it and I was like, what are these kindergarten insults? Like, you shut up. It's like, you're a number two. Like, what are these insults that you're throwing at each other? Like, stop, just talk. And none of them I felt like ever reached a point, even when they were like not interrupting each other, was like never. But none of them I felt like reached anything. No one really answered a question fully, which I know is usually predictable in debates, but it's like, you know, I wanted something at least. So
I feel like I really didn't want to see a bunch of geriatric men on television screaming and yelling at each other. If I want to do that, I can go to a nursing home. That's not why we signed up to see that. Like, we want to see a real debate where people are having a conversation about things that are going on in our nation. What's going on here? And that just was not received. And quite honestly, I thought it was really sad because these men are in their 70s, geriatric, and they are, no shade to anybody in their 70s, or some people in their 70s are still popping. So I ain't trying to throw no shade. I'm just saying that's older. So you need to act mature. But I just think it was really sad. And I just feel like, is this where our country's going to? Where we're throwing shade and you should, because there's people that's, they're looking on the outside.
yeah,
And looking at how destructive we are.
it's
And
just, it goes back to like, I know a representation, you know, and you know, who do you want to represent your government kind of just like describes the people, you know, and I am a Republican, and that's where my traditional values stand. But, you know, at the same time, both candidates show things that I'm just like, what the heck? Like, what's with your character? Like, why are you even talking about this? Why are you not talking about what's actually happening? Why are you talking about your son over in another country? Like, no one, that's not important. What's important is what's happening in our country. What are you going to do to fix things or to make things better? Like, what do you want for the people? How are you going to contribute in any way for us? You know, that's the questions that should be answered.
What?
Go ahead.
So going off of this debate, let's just break it down for what it should be. It should be what we're doing right now. We're answering questions. We're talking about the issues, you know, and I feel like the presidential debate has become more like a pissing contest. If we're all being completely real, we're talking about who has the most power, who's done the most work, instead of talking about what we need to do now. We're talking about the present right now. We don't care about your past, whatever. We care about what's going on now, what you can do for us. You are in the House because of us. We vote you in. We're the people that make this country run. And a lot of people, they forget that. They think that this one person who runs the country does everything, which they do not. They do not do everything. But this debate was childish, and it has been. The previous debate was childish. And it's becoming more so of nothing but political horse racing. Who's better? Oh, you're a Democrat? You're definitely better. No, you're a Republican? No, that's not what this is supposed to be about. What this is supposed to be about is counterparting the issues that make this country better again, that make it great again. The only way that's going to happen is if we start arguing on both, start arguing about the actual things that matter and not about each other and what's going on in their lives. Your personal lives are of no means to the general public. What matters is what you're going to do to help the people that have their own issues.
I got a question. I got a thing. I got a whole bunch of questions right now. So first, I want to, since we were just right there, you said make America great again, make it great again. Explain great. When was America great? Because when you got people like me who's Black that says years ago we were slaves, and then after that we were segregated. So like, explain great. What do y'all? So help other people understand what is make America great again.
when I personally say that, I mean that at one point in time, people used to debate about the actual issues. We moved forward, we didn't move backwards. Right now, we're moving backwards. We're not actually solving any issues. We're just creating more of them. And that's the problem. Like, we are progressing. We've gotten to this point in our lives. Like, a lot of people are getting rights. LG or the lesbian and gay community are getting rights, you know, for them. The Black community is coming up. Like, legitimately, we're making progress. And the biggest issue is now we're kind of at a block, and we could be doing so much more, but nobody's willing to talk about the topics or to discuss them like adults. We're arguing at each other, but we're not exactly making any progress in how we're going to solve the problem. And then a lot of it on social media is we could be agreeing about the same thing, but people want to argue the point anyway. You ever see that? People arguing even though they agree on the same thing?
I think for me, I'm having trouble with that because I guess what was stated pertaining to white supremacy that bothered me as an African, no, as a Black person, because as a Black person in this nation, we receive so much hate just because of what we look like. And people do not want to receive that information. They act like we're just making it up. And it bothers me when our president, I don't care if you're Republican or Democratic, but when there's an issue, an underlying issue, someone asks you about standing up to white supremacy and you can't even answer it. You decide to say, stand up, stand. I can't remember some silly.
Stand by.
Real silly that you would state as the president. How dare you? How dare you? And to me, when I hear "Make America Great Again," I can't think of anything that includes Black lives being great. I just can't, because everything that we've been exposed to as Black people, it has not been great. It has not.
Okay, I want to ask you this, Emily. As a person who is a Republican, and this is not for somebody to bash Emily or anything like this. This is nothing. We have nothing but love for Emily. I have nothing but love and respect for Emily. So, and her political views don't explain who she is as a person. I don't think Emily is a terrible person, a bad person at all. But I want to ask this question: how do you defend him not denouncing white supremacy? Well, him as in President Trump, he didn't denounce white supremacy or racism. Like, how do you recover from that? How do you defend it?
I don't really. I'm a Republican because of my beliefs in the traditions of like how the government should be run. But I am not the kind of Republican that will defend someone that obviously says something that is incorrect, regardless of who he's a Republican as well. He's my party's host, I suppose. But at the same time, I do disagree with what he says. His character is not perfect. I do not think that he is a very good person. No, I don't. And I'm a Republican. I don't know how awful that sounds, but that is why I am who I am, is because of my beliefs in how the government should be run. It's not necessarily the party chosen candidate. And yes, I if you very honest, I did vote for him the past time because I didn't like Hillary very much at all. So that's kind of where it kind of lied. And when it comes to social issues, I am very independent on everything that I stand for, and I do think that white supremacy is a thing. It is, yeah, it is. I'm not blind to that. I see that everywhere. And it just really depends on also how you see is where you grow up, like in my family, it wasn't a thing because we had friends and neighbors and we all kind of grew up together and we just had a great, upbringing. But it is a thing in the world. It is the thing in the nation. And I think people need to open their eyes to that. Just because it isn't in your little tiny neighborhood does not mean it's not in a bigger, larger scale. And I definitely see that as soon as I got to campus or to college in general. And I just saw so much culture and so many different things that you don't see when you're younger. So yeah, that's how my viewpoint on it is. I can't defend what he said because there's nothing. I don't feel like I can defend that because that is wrong. You should stand up for things that are right, and there's things that you should stand up for that like, no, he should have said that was wrong. He should have said, yes, that is a problem in this country and we need to address it, but he didn't. And so I cannot defend him because he didn't do what I believe is correct. That's my viewpoint. Sorry if I kind of went in circles for a second there.
Then, I mean, I feel like you answered that question. Steven, being a Black man, how do you feel like white people should handle everything that's going on right now? How can they help us? When the police brutality and everything, how could they help us and be a voice for us?
Is to not think about yourselves and realize that your experience as a white American is totally different than the experience of a Black American. So to think outside of yourselves and realize that these things do happen. I'm in one of my courses, we talk about whiteness theory and critical race theory. Sometimes in whiteness theory, people tend to stay oblivious to things because they don't want to believe or don't want to acknowledge things because it doesn't revolve around them. And I think that's the part that hurts the most as a Black person, because it's not that I'm out here trying to ask for help and I'm crying. It's the fact that when you see something wrong, just stand up and say, this is not right. Because that's morally speaking, because I would do that to a white person. Because there's been instances where I've been in rooms where it's been a bunch of Black people and it's been only one white person. That white person feels uncomfortable because Black people are stating things to them. And I would speak up for them. But however, would they speak up for me? And that's where Black people are coming from. I can speak up for you, but as a white person, will you speak up to me against your other white friends who may be a racist or whatever? Will you speak up for me, or will you just sit back because you don't want to be deemed as an in lover?
All right, so then I want to ask this question too, and it's not picking anybody out. This just the question. I feel like if you can answer, answer. If you can't, don't answer. Just say this not a part of you. But why do y'all feel like it's hard for white people to say Black Lives Matter, instead they say All Lives Matter or Blue Lives Matter? And why is it hard to just say Black Lives Matter, Naomi?
Okay.
Naomi,
You want to go first?
Okay, so I am neither Democratic or Republican. And I don't know if any of you know this, but I'm not really white either. Like, my skin is Caucasian, but my father is Black. He grew up in New York City. And then
almost fell out.
Lord, I came out and I look just like my mama. In fact, I have a picture of her from when she was 21 years old, and we look like twins. But a lot of people don't know this fact. So I grew up with the discrimination of, oh, that man kidnapped that white girl. Oh, like, that's gotta be, what is he doing? Is he kidnapping? I was on a road trip with my grandparents and they thought I was kidnapped. They got an Amber Alert, and I didn't even look like the girl on the Amber Alert, and they pulled us over in an RV in Las Vegas. Legitimately, I understand. I saw the discrimination happen to all of my family members.
Wow.
But besides that point, that's one of the reasons why I'm an independent, because I don't agree with a lot of things on the Republican and Democratic sides. Okay, I grew up on kind of both sides of the spectrum. I was called a mutt growing up. I was called an odd child and a couple other things, but we'll just put those aside. But to your question, I honestly feel that a lot of people that hear Black Lives Matter think that it's coming from only Black Lives Matter, and that's how they think about it. So they're like, oh, no. So if you're a Christian, you're gonna say, no, all lives matter in the eyes of Jesus. But then the Christians are doing the same blasphemic stuff that they're told not to do. Like, no, you're supposed to love each other equally, despite who they are, their appearance, whatever they do. Like legitimately, you're supposed to love all of God's creations.
Mhm.
And I see a lot of, hypocrite. I can't remember the word at the time, but I see a lot of hypocrisy. There you go, in that sentiment. So just saying.
Girl, I'm still stuck. I didn't know that you had a little sister in you. How you welcome to the family? Sure. How you doing, baby?
It's okay. It's okay. I actually really, really, really love this because I've had it many times happen to me when I'm in public, and people are like, I can't stand that N-word, throwing the N-word out there in front of me, and like, they don't realize that my whole family is like, are you kidding me? Like, I stand up for my family all the time. I defend my family all the time because they are my family. I love them with all of my heart. And I learned that number one, giving, my grandmother, Cynthia Copeland McIntosh, she lives in Las Vegas right now. She taught me that giving is the best thing, but also empathy. Empathy is the biggest thing you can do for society because you do not know them. You do not know where they've been. You've never been in their shoes. You have not lived their life. You have not seen what they have done, how hard they worked to get where they are. And legitimately, it's kind of crazy to see how many people, like back to the mask thing, how many people don't empathize with other people. There are people out there with health conditions that you could be, wearing a mask to protect them, not just yourself. I feel like we kind of live in a selfish society where like, oh, well, they said that Black Lives Matter. They must assume that I don't care. Oh my God, no, all lives matter. Like, why do we not matter too? But you do matter. They're just saying that Black Lives Matter too. You just got to support that because it's not you having the problem right now. It's them. They're having the problem right now. They're being discriminated. They're suffering unseeable problems because you will never see those problems. You will never, ever be discriminated against for the color of your skin. Like by the mass majority, by the way, like that's what a lot of people fail to realize too. In the United States, the mass majority is white.
I think people need to really go back into how this country was built and the foundations of how it was built and read your history. If you need to look up the Willie Lynch story, and you'll understand people who don't understand why this is still an issue. Some of those issues during that time is why we're facing what we're facing now between whites and blacks. So I advise people who are watching, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go do your research. My sister sent it to me, and when she sent it to me, I said, "Wow." So this is some of the same stuff that followed way back when. It's some of the same things we're dealing with now, but it's different. It's the same, but it's presented in a different way. So when you do your history and you understand how this country was developed, now not what your grandfather told you, do your own history, because as educators, that's what you should do. And when you do that and you find out, then you can form that information, understand where Black people are coming from.
I think I definitely have learned, even before you even stated that, as soon as I got onto campus, I realized that my experience and my culture is going to be completely different than anyone that I've ever met. Even if they are the same color skin as me, they grew up differently than I did. So they have a different background, different perspective, and that regardless of anything, as a Christian, I don't care. I love you for who you are. And when I was really younger, I always had this mentality. And when I was really younger, I went to mostly an all white school. But I was so hurt by people that claimed they were Christians and were horrible to me and were like, but they were nice to me at church, but they were horrible to me during school. I never understood it. I felt horrible about myself, like there's obviously something wrong here. And it took me a long time. I was really angry for a long time. And I denounced my religion for a second there too, because I was just so upset that someone claiming to be of the same religion as me to treat me that way when we look the same. I didn't understand it. And so when I got to college, I really found myself again when I realized it's not about the pettiness, that's not what matters. What matters is how you treat others and the love you give to other people. And that's always something that I want to carry out as myself, and I never want to offend anyone for like not knowing something, because I realize how ignorant I am. I'm ignorant right now. There's so many things that I don't know that are going on behind the scenes. But I am all for supporting everything, and I would stand up for anyone, regardless of who you are, what you look like, what your religion is. I think you're an awesome person, because that's just me.
Yeah. All right. I would love to keep that conversation going. I feel like we had some excellent dialogue, some great things, and some stuff we just figured out and found out. Naomi, I hope I did not offend you with it. I promise you, I didn't mean to offend you.
Oh, no, it's totally fine. I use it a lot because a lot of people are surprised when I tell them, and it's really nice to see their faces.
Yeah, you sure got me, and hey, welcome to the family. You come cook out and everything. Hey, you know what, Emily? You can come too. I can mess with you, bro.
Wait, we got you make the potato salad first, though. How's that potato salad made?
Yeah.
Now just play it.
Hey, what color Kool-Aid do we be drinking?
Fruit punch only.
Huh?
Fruit punch only, fam.
I let you slide. I be like red Kool-Aid, so I let you slide. She said fam too. All right, you in? Like for real. She wasn't lying. All right, so hold on, let's move on. Oh, we run out of time. All right, so let's hit this real quick. Let's just calm everything down and bring a little, woosah. All right, let's hit this debate. I got a quick debate real quick before we hit this next topic. Which is better, cats or dogs?
I'm gonna jump the gun already. I love cats and dogs equally. However, cats are easier to take care of when you're a busy person. Just saying.
That's factual. They got their own litter box and stuff like that. You just throw their food out there, they be straight.
Mine used to be cats because I love cats, but then my sister got a horrible cat that is so mean. So I like dogs better now because of that experience. I don't hate all cats. I just like dogs better because they're nicer to me than that cat.
Dogs can be nicer. They really can. What about you, Stephen?
Who we talking about? You said dogs and cats. Neither.
Neither. Hair?
Neither. Listen, I'm not really an animal person. Like, I don't like all that hair getting on me, and don't touch me, don't bark at me, don't lick on me. Get on, don't touch, go on somewhere now, go. But I think I like cats because I live in the country, so they get rid of mice because I can't do it. But I like cats for that reason. That's it. Now, dogs, I guess I would say I can deal with a dog just in case I need somebody to bite somebody for me or something like that. But otherwise, neither.
All right. All right. So you got cats and dogs. You got was cat, but now it's dogs. And then you got, I don't want neither one of them mugs in my house. All right. So, hey, let's hit this last topic up and then we can wrap this all up. I'm having fun with y'all. All right, so Netflix has released a movie. I assumed it was a TV show at first when everybody started talking about it, but it's actually a movie. And it's called Cuties. Cuties, matter of fact, Emily, can you take over that and tell us more about Cuties?
Yeah, so Cuties is a Netflix show. It was French made. So it's a French production, but Netflix bought the rights to it. And it is about, so the description is 11-year-old Amy starts to rebel against her conservative family's traditions when she becomes fascinated with the free-spirited dance crew. Now, where the where the scandal lies is in the original description. It originally stated Amy, 11, becomes fascinated with a twerking dance crew. Hoping to join them, she starts to explore her femininity, defying her family's traditions. And so I think what stood out most was they put her age 11 and then they exploring her femininity, which, normally doesn't happen in a girl until usually age like 12, 13, middle school age. And yes, it can happen earlier, but it starts to, the question is what age is that, you know, what age are you a child? What age are you a woman? You know, when should you start talking about that stuff? You know, should you start talking about at 10? You know, is that okay in our society? And so that took a second. A lot of people were upset about that aspect of it. It received a lot of controversy over social media. People flocked all over for it. They claimed this movie was a category child pornography. They stormed IMDb. They stormed Rotten Tomatoes. If no one knows what that is, that's like a movie rating site. And they put all of these horrible reviews and stuff on it and about the movie. But most of these people didn't actually see the movie in their defense. Netflix defended Cuties. It did win a national award, I believe, as well. So it was an award-winning movie. So when they saw it when in France, where it was originally was, they won an award. No, there was no controversy, but the picture in France of the movie is completely different than the picture the Netflix put up for the movie, if that makes sense. And that's kind of where it started with that picture. And then when they put the description on there, the first one that I said, they were like appalled. And they were like, what is this? These 11-year-olds are twerking and like booty shorts and a crop top. Like, what are they doing? You know, but in the France picture, they're all going shopping and they all look so happy, you know, and like all these girls. So like, what are they doing? Why are they portraying it this way? So I want to know from you guys. Okay. So this is the question I have for you. So what age is deemed appropriate to discuss sexuality? And also on the other side, don't creators have the right to freedom of expression through their work?
I guess for me, when it pertains to age, I think there's no, well, I won't say it's no particular age. You need to figure out as a parent where your child is mentally. Is your child able to receive and retrieve information in a mature level? Because even at 12 years old, kids can receive and retrieve information based on a mature level. But also too, there are some kids that are not like that. But I think as a parent, you have the ability to decide for your child when such should be examined. So I can't really put an age limit on that, but I would say around the age of 10, way before 12, in my opinion. I think that you need to start early. But again, I'm not a parent and I don't have nobody's kid. Thank you, Jesus. But I do think that you need to pay attention to your kid and know at what level, what intellect level they are in order to do so.
Okay, I'm going to come at this at a different angle. This is, when you're growing up, everybody hears the birds and the bees story, right? Or a form of it in some way. You know, it's like basically when we start to realize that, oh, that's a boy and I'm a girl and we're not the same, you know? And although that is, you know, nice and dandy in that aspect, the movie Cuties, because I watched the whole thing, is not about her femininity at all. Has nothing to do with that. It actually has to do with her family's cultural tensions and forcing her to grow up quicker. Actually, the creator of the film, the French creator, she had originally stated it was her own personal life experience, and all this stuff happened around the time she actually was considered by her tradition or her religion that she was considered a woman, which for most women is when you start your period. And I know no period talk because women, that's bad. We can't talk about that. But the movie Cuties was about, oh, so I'm a woman now. I have to do all these adult things. But in actuality, what determines that, right? What determines us becoming a woman? For a lot of people, that is when, you know, because as soon as you get like reproductive organs, oh, you're good to go. But that's not the case. In this movie, The Cuties, it is not based on, it's not for pedophiles or pedophilia. It's not in any way this film that is not what it has to do with. I think it was blown way out of proportion, and Netflix definitely screwed up on that part. Whoever's in advertising needs to get fired because that was just ridiculous. But in our age of society now, how many of us let our kids who are 8, even younger than that, go on TikTok, make TikToks in their freaking undies and then post them? Like, then we have dance moms and toddlers with tiaras, and they're wearing the same skimpy outfits as the cuties cover. So I don't know, it's like, it's a really interesting little bundle that we've kind of gotten this ourselves into. But the overall movie was about her dealing with her family's issues and kind of incorporating it into her growth as a child who wants to stay a child, but is kind of, you know, going towards this adult theme because of her family.
Yeah.
And you have to watch the movie to actually understand why, but I don't want spoilers, so.
All right, so I mean, that is an interesting movie. I mean, there's some interesting. I feel like advertising is everything right now. So if I can say this is what's going on, you'll bring more people to want to watch it or want to talk about it, and then they get it like views up, stuff like that. I mean, Netflix, I feel like, is known for that, having controversy and bringing more viewers in because of the controversy, as well as you made a good argument with the toddlers and tiaras and all the other stuff. You got the little kids dressed up in makeup with little bikinis on the show and all that stuff, and then the dance and all that. Yeah, that's the thing. But we ran out of time. I was gonna really just tackle that some more topics, but we can't do it because we ran out of time. But I must say, I enjoyed y'all. I'm glad y'all came on the show today. I really enjoyed y'all. Did y'all have fun? Did y'all like it?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yes, always.
So, well, that's the show, y'all. I'm glad y'all tuned in to watch it. The show that bridges the conversation that got between race, gender, and culture. This is The Bridge. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Peace. All right, smile real quick.